It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.
Welcome back to the Evan edition, where we talk movies, TV, comics, pop culture, and everything in between. I am your host, Evan Bernstein, and I am joined today by a new guest host. We got Kenny Sparks in the house from It Could Be Movies.
It could be
whatever.
It could be
what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be Philly, right?
Yeah. Yo, but before we get into all the it could be's, what it could be is a great intro song, because that intro song is rocking. I love your intro song, man.
Hey, that's how we do it. You got to get into it, and you got to be here for the conversation. So I'm glad. I love seeing people in the chat. I love having Kenny on the show. This has been a long time coming. We've been talking about it. I was like, in the new year, Happy New Year, but you got to get on here. We got to kick it, and we got to talk about the things that we love. So I'm really happy to have you here, brother.
Yeah, man. I'm super excited. I've been wanting to get on here with you since I saw my guy Zach on here. You guys have such great chemistry, and you guys always have a good time. So I'm always looking to have a good time. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. And I love having you in that chat as we were going too. That's always really fun. And we got a lot of fun stuff to get into today. I don't know if you guys saw, but we got Steven Soderbergh just shouting at the heavens that Disney didn't make his Star Wars spinoff. We got Toy Story 5 trailer. Woody is balding. I know what it's like. We got Spider-Man, Brand New Day, skipping college. We're not doing college. That's crazy. We're going to talk a little Night of the Seven Kingdoms, annual release, finally getting back to this, yearly instead of every 3 years when they look like they age like 25 years between seasons. And then we're going to talk a little bit Avengers. I don't know if that split is happening, which is sad because I was really looking forward to that. So we got a ton of fun stuff to get into. Before we do, how you been? How's your weekend been?
Weekend has been up and down a little bit. So Friday, my wife found out that her grandfather had passed. So that was a whole thing.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But it's been on the up and up and stuff like that. But other than that, not to trivialize that and move on to something else. But saw 2 movies last night. I saw Psycho Killer, and I also saw How to Make a Killing. A lot of killing.
A lot of killers. A lot of killing.
A lot of death. But yeah, so I saw those 2 movies yesterday. Today I binged the entirety of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So I'm all caught up. Once I saw that the episodes were only like 30 minutes a piece, which they're not even
easy.
that. Like I was like, oh, I can knock this out today. Man. So I'm all caught up on the pop culture, if you will.
How did you like I saw not the How to Make a Killing, the other one. I saw that was like a 0% or something.
So
it's Rotten Tomatoes, and I saw that it was like the red carpet opening. People were really excited, and then the next morning it was like boom, 0%. I'm like, oh damn. So people weren't feeling it.
So I'll tell you this. Is it a good movie? No. But it's so bad that it's actually good. I was on the edge of my seat waiting to see what ridiculous choice that they would make next. And it became, the stakes of the movie became way bigger than they ever needed to be. We're talking about nuclear explode. I'm like, this is a slasher movie? Like, what's happening here? The movie is insane, but I am actually open to seeing another one if it is just as crazy. So I had a good time with a very not so good movie.
Okay. And how was the Glenn Powell one? How to Make a Killing?
So I've had some time. since seeing it.
Sit with it. Yeah, sit with it.
It is fine. Is the best way I can put it. I
Damn,
think
bro, he needs a banger.
he really does.
I like him a lot. You know,
I have a suspicion that other people will like it a lot more than I do. Hold on, my dog just opened the door for some reason. I have to, 1 second.
Okay, all good. Well, I saw something. I had a interesting watch of things this morning. Everything good? Is it good? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a splinter in my foot, but that's neither here nor
there. Okay. I tried to watch. I grew up as a kid in the 90s. I'm a sucker for cartoons in the morning, and I wanted to put on Spider-Man the animated series.
Yeah,
I wanted to rewatch when he turns into the man spider, right? And I wanted to watch that because I'm hearing rumblings that Tom Holland might go down that route.
Yikes.
And this one was like crossover with the X-Men animated series, really dope. So I'm watching that. And then on like Samsung has like their own channels, and one of the channels was playing Detroit, and I've never seen Detroit.
I haven't seen it either.
I always wanted to. Do you know about this movie? Catherine Bigelow directed it. True story.
This is Daniel Kaluuya, right?
No, it's it's John Boyega. John
Boyega. Yeah. No, I'm aware of the movie,
young actor.
I have not seen it. No.
Very interesting to go from Saturday morning cartoons on a Sunday to one of the grossest times in America when it comes to police brutality that was brushed under the rug in history.
Yeah.
These two things are not the same, and I couldn't take my eyes off of it because it was just in Erica, came out from my wife from her stupor and woke up and was like, what is this? I'm like, this is some important stuff that we need to watch. If you guys haven't seen it, came out in 2017, stars John Boyega, amongst a lot of other great actors. It takes place in 1967. It's in Detroit. It's about these riots going on. The police are looking for a shooter, and they break into a hotel room that is just a bunch of younger black, 16, 17, 18-year-olds just having a good time with some white girls. They try to get them to confess that they have a gun. They have no idea what they're talking about. These cops end up shooting 3 people. I don't want to spoil the rest because it's history. It's been spoiled, but it's history that they don't want to tell you in the history book. So I would highly recommend it. It is super powerful. It speaks more to the times of now than ever, and it's a very important movie. So I would highly recommend it. I wasn't expecting to get into it, going from Spider-Man, the animated series, to this, but very important film. So
yeah, but that's how we kind of grew up, though, right? Like, so I remember Yu-Gi-Oh going off, right, and then Freddy Krueger coming on right after that. Jason and Ernest.
That's a good point.
So I kind of like grew up with that, especially UPN did not care. They would put
UPN would go off, and sometimes I'm like, am I allowed to watch this? But these are the real life horror people of real life.
I gotta tell you,
oh my god,
the way that you're describing it, not surprised about any of those developments.
No. As it was developing, it was like your mouth is open, but you're not surprised at all. Kind of like you're shocked that we haven't heard about this more, actually.
Yeah.
But not surprised at all. I would say, I don't want to spoil anything, but the results of what happens is typical in these situations, I would say. Let's say hi to some people in the chat. We got the chat going. We got the Obithurin Alliance.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you? We got Jeffrey from Australia.
Hello, Jeffrey.
Good day.
Good day, Jeffrey.
And we got Akers. Good to see you, Stacy.
Hey, what's up, Akers? Long time no see.
Akers says Ryan Coogler calls you. He asks, should I make Rip Van Winkle or a new On the Waterfront. You know what? I want more original things because after Sinners, man, Ryan Coogler is just on another level. He is the next Christopher Nolan, if you will. Like, I want to see him just continue to do original things, tackle different subjects, different genres, keep pushing what he can do, because I really think if he continues, he will be that next Christopher Nolan, where even if it's a biopic about a dude making an atom bomb, it's going to make $900 million. I feel like Ryan Coogler is on his way to that level. So honestly, I just want to see him keep making originals or dig deep in those history books and show us something that we haven't seen. I think that would be awesome. Maybe, everyone has, Spielberg, Nolan, everyone has their war movie. I would be down for to see a Ryan Coogler war movie. I think that would be epic.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would you want? Yeah.
For sure, I want him to continue to do original stuff. But he is working on an X-Files show, which I'm very excited about.
X-Files
show
and
or a movie.
Yeah, show.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm very excited about that because my mother loved X-Files. I was creeped out.
It scared the crap out of me as a kid.
Yeah. So one of these days, I just want to binge watch the original show and just watch it straight through, because I did watch the first couple episodes. It's pretty good.
You should. You should. It's due for a rewatch, because I did one. Man, I'd probably say 2015 or something like that.
Okay.
And watched the whole thing again. I was like, man, this is ahead of its time. It's ahead of its time, but it's primed for a Ryan Coogler to take it to a new audience and really reinvent it in a big bad way. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
But we got a ton of stuff to get into. So
absolutely,
I'm excited to get into these topics. Why don't we get into it right away? And with that, I want to start with this. So Star Wars is in flux, right? We got a new regime. Dave Filoni, Lin Brennan are the new heads. And so we're going to start seeing in the next few years a new direction for Star Wars, if you will. However, there were projects in the pipeline that were maybe being developed, being pitched, that we're not going to see the light of day anymore. And way before these new presidents, one of these projects came from Steven Soderbergh and Kylo Ren himself, of a solo Ben Solo movie, if you will. And so we actually reported on this a few months ago, talk about the details of this movie. And it seems like Steven Soderbergh is not done talking about what could have been. This comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter. They say ever since Adam Driver let slip in October that Disney acts a planned Star Wars movie centering on his character Ben Solo, fans of the franchise have been rather upset that the studio didn't greenlight the project. Nobody can possibly be as frustrated as the director, Steven Soderbergh, who says he wasted nearly 3 years working on the script for The Hunt for Ben Solo, which Driver called one of the coolest scripts I had ever been a part of. In a new interview, Soderbergh was asked about outgoing Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy calling the script great last month. Driver had previously said that while Lucasfilm loved their take, Disney CEO Bob Iger and co-chairman Alan Bergman rejected the project. He had this to say. He said, it was no surprise that Kennedy was frustrated. Soderbergh was saying in an interview with BK Mag, we were all frustrated. That was 2.5 years of free work for me and Adam and writer Rebecca Blunt. When Adam and I discussed him talking about it publicly, I said, look, do not editorialize or speculate about the why. Just say what happened, because all we know is what happened. The stated reason was we don't think Ben Solo could be alive. And that was all we were told. And so there's nothing to do about it, except move on. Soderbergh continued and said, I kind of made the movie in my head and just felt bad that nobody else was going to get to see it. I thought the conversation was strictly going to be a practical one where they go, what is this going to cost? And I had a really good answer for that, but it never even got to that point. It's insane. We're all very disappointed. So to be clear, Soderbergh and anybody else contracted to develop a Star Wars film get paid a fee to work on the script. So the work almost certainly wasn't entirely free, but that number is presumably far less than what Soderbergh would have received had the project been greenlit and he directed the film. I want to ask you, Kenny. So now that we're getting, more details about from Soderbergh that, hey, it didn't even get to a point where we got to tell them how much this was going to cost. Maybe it could have been done on a dime. Maybe it could have been really dope, low budget Star Wars spinoff. Didn't even get to that point. What do you think of, this coming out now? Now that there is new presidents, it's kind of moot because obviously they're not, are they going to go back and maybe give this love? And what do you think about putting in a Ben Solo spinoff to begin with when we know that sequel trilogy has been divisive, to say the least?
That's what I'm most confused about in terms of the viability of this movie. It seems like when Rey's movie was announced, it got terrible reaction. Ben Solo was standing right next to Rey in those movies that were not very good, in my opinion. I actually did like episode 7. I do like episode 8. Granted, it doesn't feel like anything else in the trilogy, and episode 9 is a travesty, right? But both of them were a part of it. So I don't really see why we would go in that direction. Also, I'm of the mindset that Star Wars needs to break out of the Skywalker saga in its entirety. But just going on what was said, the idea that, oh no, Ben Solo's dead, we can't do anything with that. Somehow, right? Somehow, Palpatine
returned.
Somehow. Now, I'm not saying that you make that mistake again, but what I saw was he didn't turn into a Force ghost. There's many ways to bring a Kylo Ren back. And Star Wars has given you a lot of avenues for telling those types of stories. So that's kind of my response to it. Part of me is like, well, that excuse doesn't make sense. However, I don't think that they should go in that direction. And with a new direction, with new owners or creators, I should say, a new creative team, I am also of the mindset that if something doesn't fit into the creative vision that you want to have going forward, I'm sorry, I understand that you worked on this, but just because you worked on this doesn't mean that you deserve to make it, right? We're all working on things. We're all working on things, right? So if it doesn't make sense for this new regime, then I'm sorry. It just that's just is what it is. So
it's the business, right?
Yeah,
like this is the business.
And it wasn't free work. There's
no free work,
It's a
in
writer's
Hollywood.
guild for a reason.
Yeah, 100%. You are protected in some regard. So I totally agree that, like, come on, man. You sound very bitter, and I totally get it. Like a lot of young, not young, but young when Star Wars was young and grew up with those movies, have always dreamed about making their own Star Wars movie. So I totally get that Soderbergh was like, this was my chance to make my own, Star Wars movie spinoff with an actor that I've worked with before that I really like. And I could see him doing this in this movie. So I get like the excitement and like the potential, but at the same time, it's like, do you know how many people write something that doesn't get made in Hollywood? And that's just the way of the world.
More esteemed than him that have gotten things rejected. So even later in their career. So I'm not trying to hear that, to be honest with you. So yeah, but everything else has, a viable discussion towards it, except for, oh, I didn't get my project made. How dare they, sir?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And at the same time, I think a lot of people ask, do we need a Ben Solo spinoff movie? Of course not. You know, we don't need one. But by no means does that mean that this movie wouldn't have been badass. There's a lot of things that we think we don't need until they show us and we're like, "Oh my God, I didn't even realize this character could be this way represented on the screen." There's a lot of times where they change our mind once you actually can see what was in their head. So I totally understand that this could have been a really cool movie.
Could have been.
However, I have to, I tend to agree, and I've said this so many times on the show, I sound like a broken record, but I tend to agree with Kenny where we need to move past the Skywalker saga in a big bad way to really revitalize and reframe what Star Wars can be. And we haven't done that yet. We've done it on the small screen when it comes to Andor, and I've seen that this could be a really cool espionage thriller, World War II spy type, show, and that is awesome. But Star Wars was born on the big screen, and we want to see it get back to the big screen glory. And in order to do that, you need to find a way to reinvent it so that it pleases the people that have that nostalgia from the original, but it's also new and fresh for the next generation that's ready to have their own Star Wars characters and fall in love with their own Star Wars stories. And if we keep holding on to the Skywalker saga, it's just not going to happen.
Never going to happen.
It's going to fail in comparison every time because they're going to be comparing it to the nostalgia of the originals that they grew up loving. And that is not how you reinvent something.
You know, the last good Star Wars thing I saw, other than Mandalorian, but was Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew was great, and it had nothing to do with Skywalker's. Didn't even mention the name, if I recall correctly. But I feel like Star Wars has the answer directly in their hands. But I also feel like, which is Star Wars Visions. Let me just get over with. Star Wars Visions is right here, and the problem I think that they have with doing something like Star Wars Visions is because they know that these ideas for Star Wars Visions didn't come from inside this house, right? We hired those people to make Star Wars shorts or stories and stuff like that. And if we go with those ideas rather than the ones we made in-house, then we're saying that other people can make Star Wars better than us, and so on and so forth. That's always been my thought process when it comes to why they won't just give the full seasons to Star Wars Visions, because those stories are way better than what we're giving right now. I've always said they should produce every single one of those shorts into full-length shows, even the ones I don't like, because all of them have an audience, right? So
100%.
Especially the Ninth Jedi, which is my favorite.
Yeah, but I love that one. I totally agree. And to your point, and we'll wrap up here, I think there are so many stories that already exist that you can adapt. And Knights of the Old Republic have so many great stories. There's a ton of books. There's a ton of anthology series within Vision stories that could be adapted into an epic trilogy on screen. And it seems like the audience and the fans are ready for that next jump, that next phase into the new Star Wars era. And so hopefully with these new heads, I don't know, because Dave Filoni is a George Lucas apologist. I hope, though, that he takes this opportunity to keep that same heart, but push the stories forward in a way that's fresh and new. And so that is my hope. We'll see. Ben Solo might not be the way to do it, but there is a way to do it, and we just got to wait and see. So let us know what you guys think. Do you think that, Ben Solo could have been a great movie, even though he wasn't even, one of the most popular characters in the sequel trilogy? And what do you think about Soderbergh's comments of, it being insane that they wouldn't even talk to him about what the budget could be? Drop a comment below and let us know your guys' thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, I wanted to get into this. So the year is 1995. We have classic Disney animated movies like The Lion King just came out a year before. We got Aladdin. We got Beauty and the Beast. We got Little Mermaid, an epic run of mass proportions that we've ever seen in animation. So what can make this better? Digital, what is that? Movie with a cowboy and a space guy? Well, turns out they created one of the best animated movies of all time with Toy Story. And since then, we gotten 3 more, but they're not done because we are getting a Toy Story 5. And look out, Woody and Buzz, because this time we're battling an iPad. That's right. The trailer for Toy Story 5 dropped earlier this week. And not only did we see our beloved toys battling LilyPad, we also saw our boy Woody finally getting that bald spot from being 31 years old.
Which is hilariously creative.
It is fantastic. That is my favorite part. So this past week, Pixar released the trailer for the beloved movie franchise's 5th installment, which is set to hit theaters in June. This comes to us from US Today. They say in it, Jesse, Buzz Lightyear. I love how they had to clarify that. Mr. Potato Head and the rest of Bonnie Anderson's toys look to save her from LilyPad, a tablet device that draws her attention away from her plastic friends. Jessie opts to call on her favorite sheriff cowboy for help, but when Woody arrives, the rest of the gang are quickly blinded by Woody's aging spot on the back of his head. And they say, "What are you, some sort of old man?" LilyPad pokes before Forky chimes in. "She thinks you're old because you're bald, Woody." And social media had a great laugh at that. So I want to ask you, Kenny, 1, did you see the trailer? And 2, if so, what did you think of it?
So I did see the trailer for Toy Story 5. I am cautiously optimistic about this movie, but as far as the trailer is concerned, it did give me a reason to want to go see this movie. It doesn't look bad at all. I do have the little trepidation about the toys versus the iPad because I can't fathom how they win that, because in my mind, that battle's already been won. The kids are on the iPads. They're on the lily pads and so on and so forth. So I'm not really sure if that's much of a fight. As far as Woody going bald, I'm hilariously entertained by that. Because what Pixar does really well is make movies that are enjoyable for kids, but speak really well to adults. And they know how to pull on those heartstrings, and they're definitely doing that. Hey, you're old. You who saw it in 95 at 5?
You're pointing at me?
You're old. No, not you.
No, I am. I'm dodging that point, but I am old. But you know, in all serious though, who, you know, gets bald in their 30s? I don't know what they're talking about. I thought that part was fantastic. I had a collage of emotions when I saw this trailer. One, you know, I was prime 6, 7 years old when this first movie came out and grew up with these characters. And every time a new Toy Story comes out, everyone's like, do we need this? Why is there another one? Just let it be. And then it turns out the movie's fantastic. And so they've done it at least 3 times in a row, I would say. At least 3 times in a row.
3 times.
But as I was watching this is just my opinion, but as I was watching the Toy Story 5 trailer, I did get a sense that we might be running this into the ground a bit. As much as I did laugh at the balding Woody spot, I did get a sense that does this story really need to be told? I understand the time that we live in, and people are, have their faces in their screens, and that's a great way in. But as I was watching it, I'm like, okay, it's like a lot of the same jokes, a lot of the same vibe. Okay, Woody and Buzz are at each other's throats again, like the first one. That's cool. Yep. It just felt like we were going through the motions, and it didn't feel like this was like the at the height of what Toy Story movies have come to be known as. Yeah. And it really left me thinking, did we really need a fifth Toy Story movie? That's how I felt. Did you get that sense at all, Kenny?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. After seeing the fourth one, I was like, I don't think we needed the fourth one.
Yeah.
I do not like Toy Story 4. I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. And a lot of the reason why I'm not a fan of Toy Story 4 is because of the way that, well, most of it just seemed kind of out of place, and the way that it ended. In my opinion, in my mind, Woody would never leave the other toys, like ever, for any reason. And I was reminded in this trailer of why he left. I was like, oh, that's right, he left to go find lost toys. Okay.
Bo Peep. You'd be surprised what you'll do for, some Bo Peep.
Yeah, true that. But yeah, so I did not like the fourth one.
So you were already feeling it. You were already feeling it in the last one.
However, like there have been times, many a times, where I've said, "Why do we need this?" And then the movie turns out to be great. So I try not to like
poo-poo on that before, yeah.
Because I remember vividly when I saw the trailer for the first Creed movie. I was like, "What is this?" Okay, we don't need this at all. It's my favorite trilogy. So yeah, it can turn out differently.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm just saying the sense that I got in the trailer. I don't mean that I'm not going to see. I'm going to see every Toy Story movie. Like that's my people. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to see Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, who are now voiced by different actors because the originals have passed away. Yep. I'm going to see Lily Pad, voiced by the great Greta Lee, who's been on a run, sans, Tron Ares, but we'll give her some passes. We'll give her some passes, but I think she's fantastic. And and I love that world. You know what I mean? So I will always go see it. I just got that sense in the trailer, and I haven't really got that sense up until now. And so I could be wrong, and I hope I am.
Yeah.
But I do feel like we need to let it rest so that this could be as epic of a saga as it should be, because that's how good it's been. Right. And so if this is great, don't make another one. If this is bad, definitely don't make another one.
Yeah.
Just leave it be and close it out, because honestly, the third one at the end was probably the best closeout of this trilogy at the time that you could do of all time. And they should have let it rest after Toy Story 3, and they didn't. And so now you really need to stick the landing with this ending in Toy Story 5 and let that franchise rest and just be infamous as years go on. That's my opinion.
Focus on Inside Out 3 when she goes to college and her emotions change. But yeah, the part in the trailer that made me feel the way you felt was when we saw the army of Buzz Lightyears. We've seen the multi-Buzz thing so many times, every time.
Really. In the supermarket, right? When they're
in the supermarket, you see that army of Buzz Lightyear.
Right.
Yeah, the one that spoke
nothing new.
The one that spoke Spanish, like it.
That was funny.
It was funny.
Was funny.
But but like we've seen. Oh, it reminded me of Small Soldiers, actually.
I love Small Soldiers.
Such a good movie. I'm glad they never made a sequel to that because it's such a great movie.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, Gorgon Knights for life.
Yep, Gorgon Knights for life. Well, you guys, let us know what you think. Did you see the Toy Story 5 trailer? And if so, did you like it? Did it give those feels that you get when you see these kind of movies? Or are you getting the sense that this should be the closing of this saga and let this great franchise finally rest? Drop a comment below and let us know your guys' thoughts. All right, guys. let's get into our main topic, and that is Spider-Man Brand New Day finally has a synopsis out, not a trailer. That would be too good. Not a trailer, not the thing I love, but practice in a synopsis. That's what we got. Not a trailer, a synopsis.
Right.
And so we finally know a little bit more about what we're getting into when it comes to our friendly neighborhood, Spider-Man. This comes to us from Screen Rant. They say Marvel Studios is proud to present the latest volume in its acclaimed Art of Movie series as Spider-Man swings back onto the silver screen. 4 years have gone by. You know what? Let me put this on the screen for us. Let's take a look at this together in the Evan B classroom, okay? We going in. You ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Remember that song?
Ready. Space.
Right, let me zoom in. Get out. All right. 4 years have gone by since we last caught up with our friendly neighborhood hero. Peter Parker is no more, but Spider-Man is at the top of his game, keeping New York City safe. Things are going well for our anonymous hero until an unusual trail of crimes pulls him into a web of mystery larger than he's ever faced before. In order to take on what's ahead, Spider-Man not only needs to be at the top of his physical mental game, but he must also be prepared to face the repercussions of his past. It also says a little bit that as Spider-Man Brand New Day wows moviegoers the world over, discover the behind-the-scenes magic of the film's visual development from early concept sketches and blah, blah, blah. So I want to ask you a little bit of the synopsis, okay? Let's break it down a little bit. And let's start with this. Let's start with this, okay? 4 years later, right? So that means it's 4 years after Spider-Man No Way Home, which means 4 years is typically 4 years of undergrad college.
Right.
Does this mean because we are 4 years later that we are now skipping the college years for Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Is that what this is insinuating? What do you think, Kenny?
I wouldn't mind it. I think that is it might be the right direction because college is not high school, but college is still school. So I would like to see Peter Parker in his adult age past that.
Okay. I mean, 22 is, you're like still a kid,
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting. I was just watching the animated series, which is pretty much his college years for a lot of that show, which is fantastic and underrated. And I love that show. But do I want to see Tom Holland in college as Spider-Man and see what he's been up to since the world forgot who Peter Parker is? I think there was a lot of interesting things you could do seeing the journey of him starting over. So now that we're actually skipping that part of his journey, which is like establishing who he is, who his new friends are, how he's going to get into college, what kind of Spider-Man he wants to be, all these kind of things you need to figure out now that you have no resources, you have no friends, you have no family. That's a very interesting way into this character. But we're skipping that, is what they're saying. We're going 4 years after that. So I'm wondering, is the 4 years after that more interesting than those 4 years themselves? And that is the question that this movie is now going to have to answer. Yeah. It makes sense because, it has been over 4 years since the actual movie came out, but it didn't mean that they had to do a 4-year jump in universe.
Right.
And so now they need to prove to the audience that that was the right move And that is something that could either hurt or help the movie. And so that's really what I'm curious about. Um, what do you think about seeing where Spider-Man is at after those 4 years? That are we gonna not see him in college at all? Not see the last year? That rumor that Mark Ruffalo's Hulk was gonna possibly be a professor of his in college, that might be out the window. Or do you think 4 years, that doesn't mean that he's not in his graduating year or at the end of it, right? So do you think they could still play with it, or you think they're done, they're going bye-bye?
Yeah, I don't think it totally means that they're not going to cover any of the college at all. I think that where Peter Parker was at the end of No Way Home doesn't really give me the sense that he jumped from that situation right into college. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he needed to reset himself. He got to get his own apartment. He made his own new suit. He did a ton of stuff between the time where Doctor Strange erased everybody's mind and for the time that he actually got an apartment. Because you remember, Aunt May had passed away. He's got to deal with all that kind of stuff. So there's so much stuff that I'm not even sure if he really just jumped straight into college. He might still be in college. But also, I think that part of what could be taken away is meeting people like Kirk Connors, right? The Lizard, and seeing his relationship with him in college. And maybe Doc Ock, which is weird because he already met a Doc Ock. So that would be a whole interesting thing in and of itself. So I do think that there is some things that you might lose in that situation, but I'm also really curious to see. I'm a big fan of time jumps. I think time jumps are more necessary than that they're actually utilized if they're done well. But yeah, seeing him in his adult years also does this. It puts him at that age where he can start mentoring Miles Morales.
You think they're going to do that this soon?
I think that I'm not sure how much longer Tom Holland's going to be doing this. I would assume that this might be leading into a new trilogy, maybe.
I thought that's what my assumption was, that this is the beginning of a more adult trilogy than the Homecoming or the Home trilogy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which I'm glad that they dropped that name convention too.
Yeah.
Just
it was
to
time.
Make it like a new, like it signifies that we're going in a different direction.
Brand new day, right?
Yeah, and it being directed by Dustin Daniel Cretton, like that gives me a lot of hope for like him maturing Spider-Man out of
100%
what Mark Webb was doing, which was good. I really enjoyed it, but also very high school coming of age kind of thing. He's of age now. So now what are we going to do?
Right. And also with Mark Webb's, it was like Andrew Garfield is like 28 years old playing like just graduating high school. And I don't like that, I want my high school, characters, the actors being close to that age. I want my 27-year-olds to be like, starting to get married or have you know what I mean? Like, I thought that was a missed opportunity with Andrews to like keep him that young. And that is probably where the time jump would have been best, is a time jump between Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. If there was a 4-year time jump there, I feel like that could have benefited the story more. So I feel like you're right in that sense, where a time jump can either hurt or help a storyline. More than not help a storyline.
Right. And the way that this also helps this particular storyline with Tom Holland Spider-Man is when he was in high school. Yes, Mr. Stark. Yes, Doctor Strange. Like now he's an adult with his own opinions and his own way of doing things. And he's been Spider-Man solo without no one knowing that he's Spider-Man for 4 years. So one would assume that he has matured. So when he meets somebody like Punisher, who is doing the murder, death, kill, like he's like, we're not doing that. Right. So he has a strong enough opinion and enough experience now to be able to stand up for himself, speak for himself, and say, look, we're not doing this. You can't do this in my city, so on and so forth. Right. So now we're dealing with adult to adult conversation instead of Punisher talking to some child. right?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true. He is at that point where he's going to have more adult themes in his movies and more adult interactions, like with a Punisher or with a Professor Hulk or Bruce Banner or what have you. Let's break down this line. Things are going well for our anonymous hero until an unusual trail of crimes pull him into a web of mystery larger than he's ever faced before. Based on us kind of knowing, thanks, babe. That's my wife.
Thank you. Oh, that's what's up.
Based on, we know Tombstone is in it, right? We have this mystery of Sadie Sink being, Shathra or Jean Grey or whatever. Like we don't know.
Right.
There's a big mystery, and we have Scorpion, coming back. Someone from his past is what it alluded to as well. What do you think these web of or trail of crimes that pulls him into this web of mystery could entail?
So it all sounds like it kind of leads to, this is a stretch, but Kingpin,
X-Men. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Like, so when I think about Tombstone, I think about street level. Well, first of all, let me say this. I'm so happy he's doing a street level crime and not going somewhere international or intergalactic.
Or multiverse. Yeah.
Right.
Finally.
Yeah, he's solving a crime. Awesome. Right. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's well, he did solve the crime with Vulture, but like other than that, I'm not sure if he's solved the crime since. He's just like, oh, like no, it's just here.
He's like, I'm just in space battling aliens, and then
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the street level ness of it. I'm a huge Tombstone fan. I think that character is awesome. I'm hoping that we also get some like Hammerhead going on and so on and so forth. But I think with the trailer mysteries or trailer crimes, I'm hoping that they are actually violent crimes, to be honest with you, so that he can deal with that and not just like, oh, they're just stealing the flux capacitor, right? I'm hoping that there's like
that would be wild.
Yeah, right. I was gang wars, mafia type stuff, the kind of thing that Spider-Man often dealt with. So
real
that's
Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
No,
so,
I think you're onto something. I think that is a great takeaway from the synopsis. This part of the synopsis is that it is a trail of crimes that pulls him into a web mystery larger than he's ever faced before. That doesn't mean that it's like a world ending thing. That could mean that like the city that he knows and loves could be an underworld that is set to cause turmoil for the entire city of New York City. And that is a story that we need from a Spider-Man movie that we haven't really gotten because it's gotten so big. And it's really cool to see them try and take it back down and make it more personable and make it smaller. And that is where Destin Daniel Cretton comes into play, because his whole thing before he was into these big budgets was smaller personal stories. And so to use those skills to tell a Spider-Man story about crime and criminals and what the line is and what's going too far, and we saw a little bit of that when he was fighting Green Goblin in the last movie, and now we see the juxtaposition with the Punisher. These are serious adult themes, and that is the perfect place where we need Spider-Man right now, and that makes me very excited for Brand New Day.
Yeah, and
finally
Tombstone and the other villains like are the exact people who you would run into.
There's like Punisher Tarantula, Boomerang, the Hand is also rumored. So
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. Oh man, you didn't watch me and Zach last week. So it seems like we're getting these, makeshift type characters. Before we move on, I do want to mention that, we are going to see Scorpion, right? And there
Mhm.
are rumors that he's gonna have, that suit, right? And it's a little bit more mechanical, a little bit more, give him some strength so he can fight Spider-Man. Do you think that's a slippery slope because it's getting Rhino vibes or a mech suit kind of vibes, where it's getting away from Criminal Underground and more back to the fantastical kind of villains that we've seen in the past?
No, I don't think it's going too far, and the reason why is because even in watching Spider-Man the animated series, you always saw him solving crimes, especially, pardon me, especially against people like Kingpin. But Kingpin was
Uh-huh.
always mixed in with Hydro Man, Sandman, uh, people like Scorpion. He often was the reason why these people got these suits and mechanics. So there's always been this mix of street level with just a little bit of elevated villainy, if you will.
Yeah.
So
Some
Tombstone
tech.
himself, I
Yeah.
don't believe can feel pain, and I don't think Tombstone can feel at all. Actually, if I
No.
recall
He's dead.
correctly.
He's like
Yeah,
dead inside, pretty much.
yeah.
Like
So
dead inside and outside.
right.
Like,
So yeah. So with that, I think that this is a natural part of the Spider-Man mythos. Like he also just can't be the only person who's superpowered, because that there's no fight there, right? there's
that's
nothing
true.
for him to resist, so, or nothing to resist against him. Even Hammerhead had a metal plate in his forehead, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I often saw those elements mixed in with the street level elements too.
That's a good point. And I think what supports your point is, last year we had Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, a fantastic
Really,
underrated
really
animated
good.
series.
Yeah.
And in that series, Mac Gargan, aka Scorpion, is a very prominent villain. And in
Right.
that, he's able to get a piece of tech and have this Scorpion suit that allows him to pull off crimes that a normal dude wouldn't be able to pull off. More
Right.
heightened crimes, if you will,
Yeah.
garnering a lot of criminals to back him and make his gang bigger and make him have more power in the city. And
Right.
so if you can use Scorpion in that way and
Mhm.
use the suit and the tech in that way, keep it grounded, but keep him more formidable for a Spider-Man type hero, then
Right.
that is really what I would like to see from a Scorpion on this movie. And
Mhm.
not to mention, dude, the actor that plays Scorpion in this movie, sit. I'm talking to your dog. Sit.
It is
the
scratching.
the actor who plays Scorpion in this series, Michael Mando, is a fantastic actor. He is really, really good in Better Call Saul. I just showed my wife Orphan Black. We watched the whole series. Fantastic sci-fi show. He's in that for a little bit. He's just a great actor. And so I really hope they give him the the runway to do
Yeah.
his thing in this movie, because I really think, and it hasn't happened yet, Scorpion can be established as a big bad good villain for Spider-Man and for on-screen presence that we haven't seen from that character. And I think Michael Mando is the person to do it. So that's really what I hope we get from the movie as well.
Yeah, and from the point that we were talking about before and leading into this point,
Yeah.
we had Vulture. Vulture is classically ridiculous, right? I really don't know how he flies. It doesn't make any sense. But the way that they updated him for the movies, it made total sense. It didn't feel bigger than the plot or anything like that. He used it in a very street level way, even though he could
That's a good
fly,
point.
right?
And
And
crimes, low-level crimes, stealing
low
tech,
level
right?
crimes. Exactly. And if the writing has taught me anything, is that you can make anybody a big villain. The Spot in Across the Spider Verse, the Spot is not a villain that anybody thinks of at all. He is a
Yeah.
phenomenal villain in Across the Spider Verse, right? And he was born out of a bagel being hit on his head, right? So it's like you can write anything and make and elevate any character, really.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I can't wait to see Spot in the third one. I mean,
Yeah,
they really hit the nail on the head with that and really made him go from a joke to a very, very serious villain in a big bad way very quickly. And that's what you need to do when it comes to Scorpion. You need to make him a very serious threat right away and someone that's a huge thorn in Peter's side. So I hope we get that. But what do you guys think of the synopsis for Spider-Man Brand New Day? Do you like that, we're getting that 4-year jump, getting a clean start, going into where he's at in his current day? Maybe he's in college, maybe he's at the end of it, maybe he's past it. And how does, MJ, Ned, all that stuff factor in now that he's even further removed from the ending of No Way Home? So drop a comment below and let us know what you guys think. All right, guys. With that down, before we get into that, what's your dog's name?
Bruno D'Angelo Sparks.
Bruno D'Angelo Sparks. I love that. Where's Bruno from? Movie?
No.
Bruno with I never saw him.
No.
With,
it's funny. I adopted him like Encanto. I adopted Bruno like 6 months before that movie even came out. So
no, I was thinking of the comedy one with the dude that plays Mephisto, Sacha Baron Cohen. Bruno.
Yeah,
I never saw it, but I know
I never saw that movie either. Yeah.
I never did.
I just looked at him and was like, "Your name's Bruno. Yeah, you look like a Bruno."
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. Awesome. Well, I wanted to get into this, and I'm so glad you did your homework because, for the longest time, Game of Thrones left a very sour taste in people's mouths. For how fantastic the show had been over a 10-year span. Unfortunately, the way that Game of Thrones ended left a very sour taste in people's mouth.
Yes.
I did a rewatch. I didn't think it was as bad as I originally thought, but still could have been more, could have been less rushed. And then we got House of the Dragon and people were like, fantastic. This is like Game of Thrones, but more focused on the Targaryens. But it was very similar. And so when they announced A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, we were like, okay, like we don't really know what we're getting into. We saw a similar spinoff. Is this going to be similar? Well, no, not at all. It's actually 6 episodes, 30 minutes each, if that. Funny as all heck. Cutscene jokes that we've never seen. No Game of Thrones theme like we've seen. And it was something very different and ultimately very satisfying for a lot of fans. And unfortunately, we've gotten into this rigmarole, love that word, where we get like 3 years between seasons. And with Severance and Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Stranger Things, that too can leave a sour taste in people's mouths and also have people either forget what happened or fall off completely. And it seems like Casey Boyce, the head of HBO, is reassuring fans that we are going to get back to a place of annual releases. This comes to us from winteriscoming.net. They say HBO CEO Casey Boyce opened up of how A Night of the Seven Kingdoms has a release strategy unlike other shows of its genre. In an interview with Deadline, Boyce discussed the release strategy for future seasons and assured fans HBO wants to ensure each season comes out annually. He said, yes, they're currently shooting. This will be annual. Again, it was something that we were trying to, it's not possible for all shows, but it is something that where it's possible creatively to get back to that. And we'd like to try and do that. Obviously, that last comment raises a key concern for, genre TV shows, like I explained with a lot of hit shows we've seen recently, Stranger Things, Severance, House of Dragon. We've seen like 3 or 4 years sometimes between these bad boys, and it really can hurt a show that has great momentum. But it doesn't seem like we're going to lose that momentum when it comes to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I just got to say right away, this show is absolutely fantastic. The last episode was breathtaking. Yes, there was a flashback. Should we do spoilers, Ken, or no?
We can. I mean, we
tighten it up?
The finale. Yeah.
Keep it tight. Okay. Okay.
No,
tonight is the finale.
Yeah, we could do
Let
spoilers if you want to. Yeah.
He dies. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You know, it's just such a great appetizer between the bigger world of Game of Thrones, if you will. And it was so refreshing to see them show us what Game of Thrones can also be like. It doesn't mean it has to be like this. It can be whatever, Ken. But this is what we were talking about with Star Wars, that Star Wars does not have to be one thing. In A Night of the Seven Kingdoms proves Game of Thrones does not have to be one thing. It can still be great. In this show, it's funny, it's short, it's sweet, it leaves you on the edge of your seat, and it gives you a nice beat. I just wanted to rhyme for a little bit in that part. And so I want to ask you, Kenny, one, what do you think of them saying, hey, we recognize people don't like 3 years between seasons. This ain't going to be that. And two, now that you've binged and got caught up to the finale to tonight, I can't wait. How are you feeling about it? So one, annual releases. Two, how are you feeling about the series in whole?
I'm a fan of annual releases in general. I don't want to back in my day of watching even Arrow and the CW, we were getting 22 episodes a season of hour-long shows. So I don't understand this idea that your 8 to 10 episode season takes 3 years to produce. I don't think it does, right? So I'm very much in favor of having an annual release, especially like with this type of show that is, I guess you could call it an appetizer, but it does still, it feeds us pretty well. I'm loving the narrative and going.
Am I doing a disservice by calling it I don't mean disrespect on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but you feel what I'm saying, right? Because it's short and sweet. Sorry to cut you off, but I wasn't poo-pooing on it, like diminishing how great the show is. But it is like a little I love this. And then we're getting House of the Dragon in June, but it was like, oh, I love that it carried us through. Sorry, go ahead, my friend.
Dragon in June? I wasn't.
Yes, sir. Yeah, trailer dropped this past week. Did a great trailer watch. People are loving it, but now it feels like, oh, what a great runway to the bigger series, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And also, I still have 2 episodes in season 2 to watch.
You have 2 more left, or you are 2 into season 2?
No, 2 more left from season 2.
Oh, okay. Well, you waited long enough to
I got to finish
coming hot off the heels.
Because honestly, I'm enjoying this a lot more than I was season 2. And that's a big part of that is we do have new characters and we have a new perspective about this world. And on top of that, they're still giving us the intrigue. When the kid is, the bald kid looks at the Targaryen who walks into the town and was like, he's a Targaryen. Like immediately I knew that because I had the pleasure of watching the other seasons and other shows and just knowing what a Targaryen is. Because I was thinking like, why is this kid bald? That's why. So it still gives us enough intrigue and things of that nature to really still dig into it. But I am traumatized.
Sir, get up, sir. Sir, get up.
Seasons. Yeah. because like I'm like somebody's driving by and his head's getting cut off. I just know it. Like just the entire
You're
time
waiting for the
I'm
ball to
like,
drop. You're waiting
yeah,
for
because the one thing I've always said about Game of Thrones is
yeah,
that it doesn't fake you out. It is what it is, unless Jon Snow's coming back to life. But it is what it is.
right.
Somebody looks like
Yeah,
they're dying, right? So this was a
right.
very different than I was used to because I thought he was dead. So yeah, I'm glad he's not though. I'm glad he's not. Because I
You
was
thought
like,
that was
okay,
the end? Do you thought that it
yeah.
might have been? Oh, this is like a limited series. You were like, oh, okay, this
No,
might be
so
the end of the series.
what I know Game of Thrones would do is they'll kill a character and switch the perspective of the entire show to somebody
That's
else.
true. That is
So I was like,
true.
oh, so we're just going to switch to the bald kid, or we're going to switch to somebody else. So I like even like the very first season they killed the king. I forget
Ned.
Ned, right? So
Yeah.
and I'm thinking because I watched it way after everybody else. Oh, I'm going to be following Ned for the rest of this show. Apparently
Right.
not.
Well,
So
Baylor is
yeah.
more Baylor, in the last episode,
Mhm.
helmet takes
Yeah.
off. We
Woo!
find out what's what. That is more a Ned surprise, right? Where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this gonna be his boy. Like he has a
Right.
Targaryen on his side, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
he gone. So I see
Man.
that, but you got to remember there was a lot of Easter eggs in the original Game of Thrones where there's jabs at Jamie like, wow, Sir Duncan the Tall, 4 pages on how great of a knight he was. So there was these things about how he goes on to be I think like head of the King's Guard and one of the like most well-known knights. So there's a lot more to tell in the story. So much so that the creator's like, I want to do 12 seasons. I'm like, bro, pump your brakes a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
don't know
Like, what
about
the
that.
hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. What the heck? You're really trying
I'm
to
good
go.
with a 3-4 season show and then calling it a day.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm very happy that House of the Dragon is 4 and done. That is a
Yeah.
brilliant move. I think that is how you do it. But getting back to this, I really like that this is going to be an annual show because, like you said, we are so far removed from what we came accustomed to growing up that our favorite show is going to come out every spring, every
Right.
September, where
Right.
it's like, okay, here we go. And now it's like, when is this coming out? When are we getting this? Oh, I forgot what happened. Oh, I need to do a catch up. It's been 3 years. Like that has now become the norm. And
Yeah.
so I love that Casey Blois is saying, no, with the Pit, with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, we are going to get back to giving the people their stories, their characters once a year. And that is what we used to have. And it just isn't that anymore. So the fact that he's putting his sword in the ground and saying, nope, with this show, they're filming right now. It'll be out in spring, in the end of 2026 or the beginning of 2027, whatever it is. That I love that they're getting back to that, and he's reassuring like, no, we're trying to like, get back to a place where we used to be. Sopranos every year, right?
I
Deadwood
remember
every year.
watching Arcane. I started Arcane season 2. And I was actually fine. I don't remember any of these people and who they are and what they did. I stopped 15 minutes, like not even that, like probably 5 minutes into the show and just had to rewatch the first season because I don't know these people anymore.
I did the same thing. I love season 1.
Same.
I put on season 2. I try sometimes I actually try and watch like I try and watch like the ending of the last season to just remember. I'm like, damn, I don't even remember the ending. I'm like, so I did the same thing. And so you're right. It can kill so much momentum, even when you loved the first season or the previous season. And then you get to a point where you're like, I'm kind of over it. And that is not the feeling that you want to have, especially when your first season was so hot.
Right.
It kills it.
I'll give him a little bit of grace because
What's up, Zach?
Both Arcane and Severance happens right on the precipice of the pandemic, which pushed everything out. right? So
That's
I'll
true.
give him
Yes,
that grace.
and the strikes
Yeah,
also.
and then the strikes happens, right?
No,
So
you're right.
yeah,
There
yeah,
is unforeseen circumstances, but
but still,
and he did say, creatively, if it's possible, that's what we want to do. And it
hmm
seems like this is not a sprawling different country show. This is a
right.
specific place and time, so that makes it
hmm
easier. The pit is in the pit, is in the ER room. That makes it very specific. So these are easier to do it every year because it doesn't demand a sprawling epic in different locations. So I totally get that. But the
hmm
fact that Casey Boyce is saying, hey, we know this is killing momentum. That's not what we want to do when it's possible. And I
Right.
love that he's saying that. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what Ted Sarando says once he owns them, and it could all
Mhm.
change there. But let us know what you guys think. Are you liking A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Are you excited for the finale tonight? And do you get some reassurance from the head of HBO that this is going to be an annual series? We are going to see these characters once a year, hang out with them, have a short and sweet story, and we'll see them the following year. Drop a comment below and let us know your guys' thoughts. Let's say what up to Zach.
What
You
up,
finally
Zach?
joined us. What's going on?
Woo!
The old switcheroo. We got Kenny in here and Zach in the chat. Who would have
Yeah.
thought? Look at us. Look at us.
Real
Yeah.
quick on the WB thing.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting to make such strong declarative statements when you know you're being sold.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to set it up so it's like we're full steam ahead. You can't mess with us. We got a hit show come, so it's like
Yeah.
the smart thing to do, don't touch HBO. Don't touch them. Don't look at
There's
them. Don't
no
talk to them.
reason to
Give
touch
them
anything
money
on HBO.
and
Right.
shut it up, because
Yeah.
that's HBO and that is the pinnacle of television storytelling. You don't mess up a good thing. Period.
No, not at all. Don't try
Period.
to make it cheaper. Don't try to do any of the things that
Don't add
Netflix-
layers of management. Don't do it.
Yeah. Like if there's anything to leave alone,
Yeah.
it's HBO.
Do you remember
HBO
that?
going
Leave
away.
Britney alone. Do you remember that went viral about
No.
Britney Spears? Oh man, it was
Oh, yeah.
this
yeah,
person
yeah.
was like crying, like, well, it's like, leave HBO alone.
Yes.
That's how I feel.
Please.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel. All right. With that down, I want to get into this, Ken Dog. So
Mhm.
we are a little whiles away from Doomsday. So
Mhm.
Doomsday's not ready. And Secret Wars definitely is not ready because they haven't even started filming. And so a few weeks ago, we did report that, this bad boy could be turned into 2 movies. And that might be the smart thing to do, is have such a big project like Secret Wars. You need maybe 2 movies to really tell this story.
Mhm.
And it seemed, based on Puck News reporting that filming is halted because of contracts, that all signs were pointing to Avengers Secret Wars becoming a 2-parter instead of a 1-parter. Well, it seems like that might not be the case after all. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. They say, we've been hearing that Marvel Studios might be planning to split Avengers Secret Wars into 2 parts for a while, but the initial rumor was all but dismissed as speculation. However, several different sources have since backed up the report. As I was saying, that Alex Perez Comic Circus Q&A, they were saying, Marvel cannot legally film anything for Secret Wars until a new verification of the contract is achieved. So that let many people speculate that reason might be because it's being reworked into 2 parts.
Mm.
Well, despite these reports, industry insider Jeff Schneider is saying that might not be the case. Let's take a look at this quote in the Bernstein Classroom. It's not even Bernstein, but I'm going to go with it. Everyone, as a kid, everyone was like, "Oh, Bernstein Bears."
I was like, his name's Bernstein, like the Bernstein Bears. It's not.
But they actually spell it Bernstein, like Stain.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's not the same thing, Dad. No, I'm just kidding. It's like one of those, like Sinbad was in a movie called Kazam, but it was like one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what it's called, but
it was. Was it Shazam?
But there's a thing with people's minds where they associate it with something because they think it. So that's this kind of situation. And also, Zach likes my new nickname for you, Ken Dog. What do you think?
I don't mind it at all. I'm good with it. Yeah.
I was just feeling it. When you feel it, you got to go with it. Mm-hmm. This is what our boy Jeff Schneider is saying. He says, as of right now, Marvel's not planning to split Avengers Secret Wars into 2 films. He said that may have been mentioned by someone somewhere along the chain of power, but it's not being seriously discussed in Burbank due to the difficulty of scheduling the enormous cast, not to mention the prospect of having to pay Robert Downey Jr.'s even more enormous salary again. He went on to some Batman stuff, which was interesting as well. But this is not a Batman segment, my friends. Nope. So I want to ask you, Ken Dog, what do you think of now the reports coming out that, it might have been that, you might have heard it, but all signs are pointing to Avengers Secret Wars being one movie. Do you believe in this? It's just spec right now. And 2, how do you feel if they didn't split into 2 and it was just one movie?
So I'm glad that you asked me both of those as separate questions. But so I'll tackle the first part. You can't just split a movie into 2 for the exact reasons why what we talked about with the contracts. That would be another year of an actor's life who probably has already had movies on their schedule, contracts already signed for whatever films, Marvel or otherwise. So you can't be like, hey, we're going to split this into 2 films. To who? For who? Right? So I already have this stuff going on, right? So that's not something that you can just do. Right. If this was like Netflix and they were splitting a season into 2, that makes sense because they're filming the whole season. They're just releasing it at separate times. They're not doing that with this. Right. So for me, I would say that the prospect of them all of a sudden splitting it into does not sound like a good idea, or does not sound like something that would actually happen. On the creative side, though, I do think that this movie should probably be split into 2 because Secret Wars is a gigantic story that you should allow to kind of marinate. But the other part of me, from the non-artistic side, back to the personal side, I almost feel like fatigued by this idea of splitting it. I'm like, oh God, not another. End it. Can we end it and move on to the next thing? Right? Because we know that Secret Wars is the end. So then telling me that, we're going to push the end
keep it going
to another year, it's the same feeling I get kind of with Beyond the Spider-Verse is being pushed back another. Oh God, I just want to see the end. Can we just end it? So I there's a bunch of different angles you can look at it, but yeah, for the most part, you can't just do that unless you're filming the whole thing and then editing it into 2. But yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's interesting, because we heard the rumors that it was going to be split into 2 a couple of weeks ago, per Alex Perez. And these are all insiders, and sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But the idea of splitting it into 2 was pretty well received from most people, including myself, because as you stated, Avengers Secret Wars is a huge story. Right. Whether it's, adapted or not, they have not established Dr. Doom. In one movie, it's not going to completely establish him. And you best believe that whatever happens in Doomsday is going to roll over into Secret Wars in a big bad way.
Right.
And so it made sense with how many characters are involved and some characters that are not involved at all, like Spider-Man and Hulk and what have you, that because they're all going to be in the next one, why not split into two and really give the story the room to breathe and be told, in a way that gives love to everyone that we've seen thus far in the MCU, or that we haven't seen thus far. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'll say this as well. I kind of went into this thinking that Doomsday and Secret Wars were a 1 and 2. I thought that these were 2 parts,
like Infinity War
of the whole
and
story, right? And Endgame, right?
And
so
Endgame.
I never thought like, oh, they'll be splitting Secret Wars into 2. I was like, why would you do that? These are 2 movies that are supposed to bookend each other, right?
Yeah.
So then turning that basically into 3 movies sounds like a lot. And even like I was saying before, even if they don't have to come back and film something because they're editing it into, you're still asking people to do press and all kinds of other stuff for the second half of the movie, right? Press tours and putting things on social media. That in and of itself, it's a lot. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend. If it was me, I don't want to spend. If it was me, I would not want to spend 3 years promoting this one thing. Like that sounds awful, right? Because you just want it to be over. Even if you're proud, like I've worked on videos that I was really proud of, but I was tired of looking at it, right? So
that's true. That is a good point. And I swear Zach has helped me out with this term before. It's the Mandela effect. I'm getting like deja vu because I swear he's helped me in the chat before with that. What do you think about Zach saying, I would love Doomsday being 2 movies and Secret Wars being 2 movies?
I mean, from a enjoyment perspective, sure.
Do you think that will get them to be done? Get the feeling that they want to be done with the movie?
Oh, for sure.
2 Doomsday and 2 Secret Wars.
I'll show up for the press run for the first one, but y'all on your own for the second one. But also, I think that the other thing, so this is funny because it's kind of the reverse of the problem that they had before, right? So before in the first, I want to say phase 4 and 5, neither one of them were bookended with an Avengers movie, which I feel as though every phase should be bookended with an Avengers movie.
100%.
The idea of releasing 4 Avengers movies in quick succession on the opposite side sounds ridiculous. Like we don't need to do that because now you still have to fill in the gaps with solo movies in between, right? So it just kind of feels like a lot, right? It makes the big event feel like a normal occurrence, right? So
yeah, that's true.
It kind of takes away from the specialness of it.
You did no Avengers movies for this long, and then you're like, we're doing 3 in a row. You guys ready? It's like,
hold on.
Like you're coming on a little too strong there. Like,
right. Yeah.
I know we said we wanted after every phase, but you didn't do that, and this doesn't make up for it. So don't do it because you messed up the past 7 years and didn't do an Avengers movie in between there. Just land the plane here, and I don't care whatever it takes. If it's 1, great. If it's 2, great. But decide and get it done because at this point, you haven't even gotten in front of the camera for Secret Wars. And as we've seen with them pushing out Doomsday to December and then subsequently Secret Wars December, it takes a lot of time to make these movies and on set shoot these bad boys and continually tweaking it as they go. And so instead of like us speculating if it's going to be 1 or 2, just let them do their thing and get in front of the camera and start filming and then figure it out. Because you best believe they're not just like doing this on a whim and being like, we got to do 2. If it was going to be 2, that was going to be decided years ago when they came up with the overarching story, when they went back to the drawing board and scrapped King. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be a part 1 and part 2. It seems like this is fans pushing that narrative forward because that's what they want.
Which
and so
is
I'm
often
like,
the case with rumors.
Yes, which is often the case, and which is often when it's a slow day at the office.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about? Splitting Avengers into two. Avengers gets more clicks, and there you have it. So
yeah,
I just want a good Doomsday movie. I'm about like, it's like sports. Like, just win the next game.
yeah.
That's all I care about. Just
Yep.
have a great Doomsday movie, get people on the hype train again, and then land the plane with Secret Wars. And that can be part 1 and part 2, or it can be just one movie and it ties everything up that we've come to know and love about the MCU. And let's get ready for X-Men. That's how I feel about it at this point.
Totally.
And Zach is saying, man, once them trailer hits, no one will care. They will be strapped in. And that's true. Like, we saw the craze with those 30, 20-second teases that weren't even a trailer. And that got the whole internet talking about Doomsday, which is what their plan was. And so for whatever, for good or bad, they were talking about it. There's somebody talking about. Yeah. And so
but
I want to see a real trailer though.
No.
Yeah. You don't think so?
The response to it? No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Now, do I agree with
itching me, bro?
Do I agree with like the people's, oh, it's the worst thing in the world? Like, no, I'm actually on the train of, oh, these are really interesting. But the internet, unfortunately, is very cynical now. So everything is like, it's the worst thing ever. No. But yeah, but for me, I was enjoying it, even though they weren't trailers. I think that, long story short, the thing that they need to do is stop trying to make everything feel special. Like, oh, we're going to release 4 different parts in the movie theaters for the same movie, so you have to go see the movies 4 straight times. Who is doing that besides us? Very like cinephile type people,
right?
No one
the people
is
that
doing that.
Love this. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about Zach? I tend to agree with him, and me and him talked about this last week, I believe. I think the Cap trailer was the only one that was negative response from what I've seen, because I thoroughly enjoyed the X-Men one. I thought that one was fantastic. And then, I don't know, I mean, the Wakandans with the Fantastic Four, like, that's what we've been waiting for, is like the characters that we love in one movie again. So there was some that people really liked. Do you agree with that? Or in your opinion, did you just think like they were just pointless?
I don't think people like the Cap one. I also don't think people like the Thor one, because no one ever mentions it. Also, they're like, oh, Thor's just being Thor. The X-Men one, not X-Men. No, yeah, the X-Men one was probably the most well-received one.
You know, with the lasers.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't wait.
Finally.
Yeah, and then the third one or was it the fourth one with the Wakandans and the Fantastic Four? Of course,
that was the third. Yeah,
I was excited about that.
Was X-Men the third and the Wakandans?
I think X-Men was the third. Yeah, and Wakandans
and then Thor was the second one.
Yeah, so all 4 of them were fine to me. Not fine. I'm sorry. The Thor one was fine. The Cap one, I don't understand why people didn't like it. I was very excited to see Steve. And then the other 2, I was really excited about as well. The Thor one was the only one I was like, you didn't tell me anything I didn't already know.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. No, I mean, I think we're ready for a real Doomsday trailer. I thought, the Super Bowl was a great place to do it, and they decided not to, and so.
I'll be honest with you.
What?
When you hear the price of those Super Bowl commercial spots, I'm not paying for that either. Not when YouTube exists.
And Disney is a small studio strapped for cash, so I see.
Right. So
what are you talking about? They rich as hell.
Yeah, of course they are, but you don't stay rich by doing dumb stuff, right? So it's a lot of money per second.
They did hire Bob Chapek, so for their CEO for many years, so they've been doing some dumb stuff and paying money for it.
Yep.
I wanted to comment on this. Kevin, my friend, Dana Walden run the show behind the scenes. She going to push for diversity and inclusion with MCU and Star Wars moving forward. This is
be a problem.
Very close to using the term I hate woke, where people are mad that they're seeing diversity in films and they want to use this blanket statement, oh, they're just being woke. I do want to make it clear, Kevin, there's nothing wrong with diversity and inclusion in movies, period. Okay. I understand that some people, it may bother them, but you have to understand that there's a lot of people out there that want to see themselves in these movies. There's a lot of young people out there that want to believe that they can see themselves in this hero and be that one day. So I understand that it might look like it's pushing a narrative of diversity and inclusion, but this might just be pushing something that a lot of people that don't look like us have been waiting for a very long time. So I get it, but I don't think there's a narrative to push for that. I think there's a lot of fantastic stories that have existed for many years that have people that are brown, black, women, trans, whatever it is, that have stories that deserve to be told on the big screen, just like cis, male, white people have had their stories on screen for a very long time. So I totally understand how it may irk some people the wrong way when things change, but you have to understand that there's a lot of people that have been waiting to see themselves represented on the big screen in a big bad way, and it means something to them. So I don't think there is a narrative that they're trying to push. I just think that it's okay to want kids of brown, black, Asian, what have you, be able to finally see themselves on the screen. So that's my take. I hope you can see that it matters to a lot of people.
It matters to me. I've never been a fan of the whole, oh my God, Negroes are on the screen. How are we going to, like, it's like, yo, man, people exist. These people are real. Like, trans people exist, black people exist, Hispanic people exist. You just want to have to deal with it, man. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You have had a 400-year head start on getting all your stories out and then changing other people's stories. You'll be all right if we tell our stories. You'll be fine.
I just gotta say, if Black Panther or Miss Marvel or even Echo, if it didn't resonate with you or make you kind of proud that these stories are finally being told on screen, that people are being represented as doctors, lawyers, a king, a queen, a princess, and they don't look like me or white people, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
This is not a bad thing. This is what the world actually looks like. Who would have thought that it should be on screen as well? So I totally understand. People can feel the way that they feel, but you got to understand, on this show, representation matters to us. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So we got a little bit off track there, but I do want to mention that right now with Avengers Secret Wars, this is just a rumor. We don't know. Yeah. We don't know. We are not in the room where it happens. That's a Hamilton reference. Go see Hamilton, Kevin. But I prefer two, or I prefer one. I just want the story to be told right. So drop a comment below. Let us know what you guys think. Do you want Avengers to be Secret Wars to be a part 1 and part 2? Are you okay with it being told in one story? Or do you just want to know that this bad boy is just being filmed and we're getting it? Drop a comment below and let us know your guys' thoughts.
1,000%.
All right, guys. With that down, let's get into our last topic. AI is running rampant, you guys. Woo! We got Deadpool fighting Darth Vader. We got Godzilla fighting the Predator. We got Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt defending Epstein. What is going on with the world that we live in today? This broke late or early last week, and this comes to us from yahoo.com. They say Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise's likeness are at the center of the latest controversial use of AI in the film industry. The AI video tool Dance and its parent company ByteDance, which also owns TikTok outside of the US, have received significant scrutiny from Hollywood studios and SAG-AFTRA in recent days. After a video showing AI-generate versions of Pitt and Cruise in an intense hand-to-hand combat against each other that went viral, the clip was shared X by Irish filmmaker Rory Robinson. And he said, this was a 2-line prompt in Seedance. If Hollywood is cooked, guys are right. Maybe the Hollywood is cooked. Guys are cooked too. I don't know. It seems like this guy cannot type for a crap. So neither Pitt nor Cruise have commented on the viral AI generated video. In response to the videos and other AI generated content created using the latest version of Seedance tool, Disney sent a cease and desist letter to ByteDance on February 13th, alleging infringement of its IP, according to The Hollywood Reporter and the BBC. As the BBC reported on February 16th, other videos generated by Seedance shared on the internet have shown Star Wars characters battling with lightsabers, Spider-Man and Captain America fighting each other, as well as many others. The Motion Picture Association, which represents Hollywood movie studios, also demanded that Seedance immediately cease what the MPA alleged was its infringing activity. ByteDance told the BBC that it respects intellectual property rights, and we have heard the concerns regarding Seedance 2.0. They say we are taking steps to strengthen current safeguards as we work to prevent the unauthorized use of intellectual property and likeness by users. So I don't know if you've seen this. I have seen this amongst many others have bombarded my feed recently. And as cool as I think it is for Spider-Man to fight Captain America, which we saw in Civil War already, as amongst, many others, this is a very slippery, dangerous slope.
Agreed.
At the click of a button, you should not be able to take the characters you love and make some dope fight scene just for the sake of it. These are stories. These are characters that are owned by people. Let's say you had a comic that you were writing and you were so proud of it. You worked on it for years. You did the story, the character, the voice, everything. You even, hired a voice actor, did some demos, all that. Someone took that and in 2 seconds made an entire fight scene of it and got 1 million views. But no one wants to hire you because they already saw that concept and they didn't like it. This is where it is getting very dangerous. These are ideas. These are characters. This is IP that is owned by specific people. And we can't just do whatever the heck we want. And it's very reminiscent of a time that we grew up in with Napster, where people started downloading music for free. They said, hey, click of the button. It's okay. It's available. It's on, my computer now. Easy as that. No harm, no foul, right? And we saw the music industry shift in a big, bad way because of it and hurt a lot of companies, a lot of artists. And it was really, really bad for business for a very long time. This is very reminiscent of that Napster, FrostWire, LimeWire effect that happened many years ago. And now it's happening with movies and with AI. And it's really, really scary to see. I want to ask you, I know you read about this. I know you didn't see the video. You maybe saw screenshots, stuff like that. Yeah. You did see the video.
Yeah.
What do you think about Seedance? And what is this signaling to Hollywood and where we're at currently with AI?
So I want to be very clear on this. I don't like this at all. I think the thing that bothers me the most about it is they actually had an interview with the guy who did create that video. And essentially what he said was, well, I knew there would be some controversy, blah, blah, blah. So for me, what that signals is I'm willing to do something unethical in order to promote my business of this AI at the expense of these other people. And it's not like but here's the scariest part about it, right? The way that he decided to get that reaction response was by using I believe Brad Pitt to say, "Oh, Epstein's a good person," right? So scarier even than creating movie content or fake movie content is the ability to have someone look like they're saying something that they never said. Because beyond just, Tom Cruise was fighting Brad Pitt, you have the ability on the internet where people will believe literally anything that they see. Having the ability to just put words in their
It's
mouth.
making me sad.
People are
killing
going
my
to
spirit.
people are going to get killed. People are going to get sued. People are going to get canceled, and
people are going to believe it. That's the scary part.
That's the problem. And I think what is even a bigger problem, not even a bigger problem, but what is a part of that problem is no matter what evidence you give to the contrary, I never said that. We are living in a society where people believe what they want to believe because it makes them comfortable, right? So we don't need to be in a situation where you can just willy-nilly just have people say whatever they want. So the entertainment part is there for sure. I don't want to be seen saying something that I did not say and would never approve of saying. And the only reason why he used Epstein in his little 2-sentence prompt, because I'm pretty sure the 2-sentence prompt didn't not include Epstein, because how would you not? So that was an intentional.
No, he put that in there intentionally for sure, which is weird as heck to even do that. But I totally agree. I mean, it's a slippery, very slippery slope,
right?
For just not even the infringement on IP or characters that are owned by creatives that they own them. These are theirs to play with. These are not everyone's to play with just because everyone enjoys seeing them.
Yeah.
But on top of that, what you're saying is that now this can be used to spread false information, misinformation, rumors, and make it seem like it's fact from people that they trust. And that is even scarier.
Yeah.
There's people that love Brad Pitt and love Tom Cruise. Like, these are generational Hollywood superstars.
Right.
And some people of a certain age, they might not even realize that this is fake.
Somebody's grandma watched that and was like, "Oh, he said the Epstein is innocent." No, grandma, that's fake. But I saw it. Grandma, please. Yeah, so like there's a lot that can happen with that. But even on the creative side of things, I totally agree. I don't want my characters being used as a pawn in somebody else's whatever to promote their stuff. And the idea, we were kids, but the idea back then were, I could just download it and it doesn't hurt anybody. No, it hurts the people who made the thing. The woman or the man or whoever who sang the song, the person who played the guitar, all these people. And in the same way, it's going to hurt the people from the actors, blah, 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 they're all rich. Who cares?
Yeah, they're rich.
There's exactly. A gaffer, there's a lighting guy, there's the crafts guy, who all are working on these projects as well. So you're also harming the people who barely make anything, as well. For the 2 rich people who are in this movie, you're also harming the hundreds of other people who are not rich, who are making this movie. You think you're hurting a company, but no, you're actually hurting a enormous amount of people. The amount of people who it takes to make a movie is ridiculous. But it is what it is. So I don't like it for a myriad of reasons. But yeah, and like, it sounds like something that would be fun, right? Oh, I can play with my toy or play with these toys and make, Spider-Man fight Spawn or something like that. That sounds fun in theory, but no, like I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to use your imagination.
Remember that? Yeah, exactly. No, in people agree with you. This comes from the Screen Actors Guild that had a statement on February 13th. They said it stands with the studios in condemning the blatant infringement enabled by ByteDance's new AI video model, CDance 2.0. They say the infringement includes the unauthorized use of our members' voices and likenesses. This is unacceptable and undercuts the ability of human talent to earn a livelihood. The Actors Guild added in its statement, it further claimed CDance 2.0 disregards law, ethics, industry standards, and basic principles of consent. Responsible AI development demands responsibility, and that is not existent here. With great power, no, they didn't say that part. But
they could have because they own it.
They do.
Disney
but
does.
also,
right. Yeah,
it's true. This is great power.
Yeah,
and with great power does come great responsibility, and you have a responsibility to the creatives, to the people that put their blood, sweat, and tears into these characters, into these stories that are being completely betrayed in a really bad way. And I'm going to continue to make it clear, we do not condone AI use when it comes to IP infringement of any kind. It is cool to look at, but when you take a step back, it is disgusting that it is happening across the board. Because right now, I'm getting flooded with videos of
all
AI. It is running rampant, and we need to put policies and laws in place to make sure that this doesn't get worse, because it is going to happen fast, and we need to act quickly.
And what's going to be the worst part about it, besides people like losing jobs, blah, 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 we already discussed that. How does this world treat women anyway? Before AI?
Terrible.
So the ability to make a woman do something that she would never agree to and violate them in that way is not, it's like, we know how the internet acts. It's not a good environment to be in. So to be able to take the women who you find attractive and then make them do something that they would not do otherwise, that is an incredible violation that I think women have to worry about more than anybody else, right? Because they get abused just by posting a picture of them of their actual selves. So I'm scared for everybody, really. But yeah, I'm definitely scared for women, minorities as well. Yeah.
Yes. I was gonna say people of color too, 100%.
What's to stop somebody from? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What's to stop somebody from the gentleman who was unfortunately killed by ICE a couple weeks ago? Petty. I'm sorry if I'm getting their name wrong. What's to stop someone from making an AI video of it looking like he actually pulled a gun? What's to stop somebody from doing that?
Dude, that's scary.
And then how many people would believe that?
Yeah.
So
it's dangerous. Very, very dangerous. I want to ask you, Zach said he just had a friend debate with him that this AI stuff is dope. And since the studios won't do it, what would you say to a friend who has that mindset that this AI is sick? We're never going to see Spawn versus this person, and they're doing it. That's awesome. What would you say to them to make them realize that this is wrong?
It doesn't belong to you. It's not yours. I don't know if that would convince them, but the bottom line is you can't do what you want because it doesn't belong to you. I'm sorry that you can't just make a thing because the people won't do it. But at the end of the day, it's not yours. It's not your toys. You can't just do whatever you want to do.
Whatever we want to do just because a tool exists. That's not how society works. And we've gotten way too accustomed to having everything on demand. You want something from Amazon, it'll be here in a day. You want something to deliver to you, DoorDash got it. You want to go to a trip, you can go to a trip. You know what I mean? Everything, you want a show or a movie, it's on demand. We live in such an on-demand society that now we are programmed to think, oh, I want to see a fight between two of my favorite characters. I can get that. I deserve that. And that is
That's
the
the
mindset
problem.
that people think is that
Yeah.
I deserve that because that's what I want and I
Right.
need it. It's on demand, so make it happen. And
Yeah.
that is very scary because now we are being customized to think that that is okay
Yeah.
based on everything being at our fingertips.
Yeah, that's the problem. You don't deserve
Yeah.
any of these things, right?
Yep.
They were made by somebody else. We talked about earlier people saying things that like, why do we need this? Whenever someone makes something, it's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
90% of the stuff that you enjoy was something that you didn't ask for. Nobody asked
Yeah.
for the Matrix, but we got it, right? So
Yeah.
there's a ton of different things that we have received throughout human history that have been great.
It's gonna
And if
stifle
you
that too.
yeah, and if you can't regulate yourself to enjoy what's in front of you, or check this out, make it yourself, not have AI make it, make your own ideas, then
Yes. There's
then what?
there's there's fan videos. There's epic shorts that fans made of Star Wars or superhero beatdown, and they are doing the work.
Right,
They don't own those properties, but they're not making money off of it. They are
right.
fans of it. They have costume makers. They have sound people on there.
Mhm.
Their friends love these characters and just want to have fun, play in the backyard, create something cool. There's, a kid who survived cancer who made a dope Spider-Man short trailer because
Right.
he loves the character and it got him through.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful things. These things are not the same as using AI
It's
to
not.
make these characters fight each other.
Right.
These two are not the same thing. So do not get it twisted or use that as a defense for AI because that is indefensible. It doesn't add up.
Yeah. I've never
And
watched one of the videos of someone creating their own short story about Spider-Man, like, oh, Disney made that. Or like or
right,
something of that. Like we are aware of the things that come from the source and the things that don't. But the problem is even that Disney could say, hey, don't do that. Like that
no, they
belongs to us.
could.
Right. But like I think that kind of the bigger difference is that they're also using real people's faces, right? It's not you in
Yeah,
cosplay doing something with your friend. They used
right.
Tom Cruise's face and Brad Pitt's face. No, sir.
That's no. And and Zach is right, like the entitlement that social media and streaming has created is wild. It's
Yeah.
really wild. People think they can say whatever they want, they can do whatever they want. They're behind their screen, they're behind their keyboard,
Yep.
and that means they're entitled to do it because they can get away with it. And
Yep.
that is very, very scary. All right, guys. We have waved the red flag of AI a
Yep.
lot, and I'm curious to see what you guys think. Do you think that, like Zach's friend, like this is cool? This is really cool. We get to see stuff because they're not going to make it. Or do you see the danger of using this in that the IP and creative devices are in danger of going extinct based on people thinking that they can make whatever they want because the tool exists, so why not? Drop
Yeah.
a comment below and let us know what you guys think. Whew, that one got dark, bro. I'm scared right
Mhm.
now. I'm shaking in my boots.
You
All right,
should be.
guys, that is it for the show. Before we
Woo!
get out of here, let's answer Acre's question off the top of the dome. Do you have a favorite animated character?
Just one? No. Oh, I honestly I could say Miles Morales, but from the Spider-Verse movies. But there are many. Like I would say Static Shock or Static rather from Static Shock. Uh Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond, right? So like there's a lot of animated characters I absolutely
Yeah.
so yeah, the whole Justice League crew from Justice League Unlimited. I mean, don't even get me started with that. So, like, there are a lot of animated characters I really enjoy, but I would say
I would
probably
have to.
Miles is probably at the top of my list.
Yeah. Miles is a big one for me. I mean, I would have to sit and break it down. I mean, I'm a big lover of animation, so there's a lot. I mean, I think Timon and Pumbaa are a classic animated duo. You know what I mean?
Lion King's actually my favorite movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's up there for me too. I think it's probably the goated animated movie to me, honestly. On top of that, I think Jasmine, you know what I'm saying? No, but I do think I do in a serious way, I do think Jasmine being one of the first known representations of a brown girl on screen, who isn't just a damsel in distress as well. I think that did a lot for a lot of people. I think that is actually a very important animated character. And so besides, her being beautiful, I do think that was a very important character. I know for my wife, especially, going back to representation, she only saw, white princesses. So the fact that there was a brown princess represented on screen and that she was cool, I mean, that was really big for her. And I'm sure for a lot of other brown and black girls growing up. And so to me, I think that's a really, really important one and a cool one. On top of that, I love Coco. So I'm in love with
Coco. That's my jam. I love that movie.
I love that movie. And my wife and I watch it every year, multiple times a year. So I love that movie. But man, there's so many. Great question. And thank you so much for everyone hanging out with us in the chat. And I know, in the chat, we talked about some serious stuff, but when it comes to diversity in film and TV, I think I can speak for Kenny and Zach, especially. This stuff is important to us and it matters and it needs to be talked about. And even if it's a hard discussion, like you don't agree with us, it still needs to be talked about because those conversations are important. And hopefully you can come to some kind of respectful, productive conversation to see the other side, to see where people come from and how they feel, because whether you agree with it or not, those conversations are important and they need to continue to happen. So I, respect Kevin for being able to say how he felt, but at the same time, we're going to say how we feel because diversity and representation matter, and those conversations need to happen. Even if they're uncomfortable, they need to happen. So, Kenny, this was awesome. I loved having you here. Where can the good people find you?
So you can find me at It Could Be Whatever on YouTube. Also, It Could Be Movies, which is probably my most active channel. And I also have a couple of other channels under that brand that I've made videos for that is too long of a list. But you can also find me on Threads at Kenny Sparks YT, which I'm very active on. So if you guys ever want to talk to me about wrestling, movies, random stuff, you guys can all find me there. ADHD, you can find me, all of me on Threads talking about all that good stuff. But yeah, YouTube, It Could Be Movies, It Could Be Whatever.
Awesome. Yeah, and I can't wait to have you back on here. Hopefully we can do one again soon.
Yeah.
Do one, you, me, and Zach would be fun, but I had a great time. Indeed. And it's always a pleasure talking to you about the things that we both love. So it has been fantastic. And you guys can find me, of course, at the Evan Edition. I am on YouTube, Instagram. I'm getting back on TikTok. I didn't like the ICE stuff. I don't respect that at all. Their take on it to get political again, but I am starting to post on there again a little bit because I did take a break. And I'm also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so you can find me there as well. And we will be here next week. Me and Zach are going to get into it. And then a week after that, Cece's going to come on the show.
Yeah. So, big homie Cece. That's what's up.
Yeah. So I can't wait to get some others on here. And like I said, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Can't wait to get you back on here. And thank you again to everyone in the chat. It's always great to have some interactions in there, try to answer your questions, and have you guys a part of the conversation. So thank you so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, be here for the journey, go see a movie, go watch A Night of the Seven Kingdoms finale, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good night, my friends. Take care.
It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.